right, good people. How we doing? It's Wednesday, and welcome to Montez at Midday, presented to you by title sponsor St. Louis Organics, located at 8088 Watson Road. Check them out today. Don't forget to get a complete list of all the sponsors by visiting www.dremontez.com. It's your first time tuning in. Thank you so much. I got my man here with me today, Willie, as always. We're getting ready for opening day, April 7th. No excuses if you're not there. You already knew what day it was and what time it is. Stay hydrated. But more importantly, thank you for tuning in. It is what I like to call Way Back Wednesday, or WZUP. What's up, Wednesday? But as always, as we got to do with the show, high fives, chest bump. Let's hug it out. Don't adjust your set. Yes, those are two additional people joining the show today. I'll let you know more about them in 1 second. But other than that, more importantly, how's your bracket? How's everybody bracket doing? Is your bracket okay? I'm talking your men's bracket, your women's bracket. You got a mother and son in the NCAA. You got a kid now out of St. Peter's that just secured an NIL deal with Buffalo Wild Wings. Talking about things happening in a positive way. Those are the stories I like discussing sometimes on Montez at Midday, as well as the podcast, Who's to Blame? Don't forget to check out the latest episode of my podcast, Who's to Blame, wherever you get and listen to your favorite podcast at, by the way. But without no further ado, I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, we picked up a new sponsor on the show. TMS stands for Transcranial Magnetic Stimulation. Almost had it. And you can check them out and find out more information by visiting ChesterfieldTMS.com. But I got the man of the hour that can tell you a little bit more about the brain magnet, as it is being called, the brain magnet. And it's really to help people that are going through the depression phase. Without further ado, I got Jason on from TMS. What's going on, my man?
Thank you for having us, Dre.
No problem.
Good to see you. So
we go way back. Though. We go way back. So this is very,
I know.
Very neat to have you in this version of the show.
So TMS is a non-drug treatment therapy for depression. It uses magnetic pulses to stimulate the area of the brain that produces the chemicals that regulate mood. We do call it the brain magnet. It has been FDA approved since 2008. All major insurance pays for it, so it's not new in general. It's somewhat new to this area, St. Louis area. We've got a clinic in Chesterfield in the Valley, but there are multiple clinics throughout the area, and I kind of wanted to chat with you. Well, because I haven't seen you in a while, it's good to see you. And just to get the word out
always a pleasure.
About TMS, and if anybody's suffering from depression and tired of the side effects of their antidepressants and everything that goes along with that, there is another option, and TMS is certainly a valid option. Tons of clinical research on it. There's about a 70-75% remission rate, and I brought one of our former patients with us today. That's Adam. I'll let him talk for a little bit about his experience with TMS. But, with COVID, before COVID, you had about 1 in 10 people that were diagnosed with depression, and now we're looking at 4 in 10. So it's become a much bigger issue when it was already a big issue. So I just want people to know that they have options.
That's kind of what started our conversation. We hadn't seen each other in a while, and we're both checking up on each other. And you told me about your new venture, and I was telling you that I have recently been around and I guess met a whole lot of people going through depression that I either knew or didn't know the signs of what to do or what to say, even know what the process was. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to put my listeners in contact with a company that can really get to the either a different alternative, so to speak, than what's out there.
Absolutely. And I I think people think of depressed people as just being down and out 24/7. That's not the case whatsoever. I mean, they have their good days and bad days like anybody else. There is a serious chemical imbalance going on.
Yeah, that's what I found out. I found out a whole lot more about, it's one of those phrases that everybody uses but don't think about, and they call somebody crazy. They don't really know what's really going on with the person. And as you just said, people have bad days, they have good days, they have complicated days, but everybody has a method and a process. But I think what you have now with this TMS, I think that could be a very wide range of people could probably get some more information out of it, see if they can help them.
Absolutely. Our website's below. It's chesterfieldtms.com. But when you and I spoke, I was talking about PTSD, which is another condition that it treats. And the military is using it actively. And we're trying to put a pilot program together with first responders in the area because I think a lot of people don't want to talk about it and they don't want to get on drugs. They don't want to take the drugs and they just kind of suffer through it. And there is another option.
I learned over the past, I guess, year and a half, 2 years due to COVID that men don't talk about health issues with other male friends and they don't talk about love, how they're feeling, what's going on with them. So you're right on both points. But I think this is even more of a better way to bring it out because there's so many different platforms that are letting you know, hey, it's okay to have a bad fucking day. It's okay. It's
Everybody
nothing bad
has
about having a bad day.
That's right. I mean, Adam, you can chime in. Adam was a patient with us back in 2020, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So just tell them briefly how your experience was.
Do it.
So just let them know how your experience was.
Well, my experience, I went into the TMS with kind of like a neutral thing. Like I didn't have high hopes, but I didn't, like completely discount it either. Because I mean, I've dealt with depression literally my entire life. Like the first time I went into therapy, I was 5 years old, and I've been on. Oh man, I've lost count. Probably 6 or 7 different antidepressants throughout my life. They'd work for a while and then all of a sudden they'd stop working. So I'd have to change to a new one, and adjusting to all of that and dealing with some of the side effects. Like I was on one that caused just absolutely horrible dry mouth. No matter how much water I drank, it would still happen. I'd be on them that caused, there was one, the last one I was on caused me to gain weight. I blew up to almost 300 pounds. I would sweat constantly. Like really the side effects was really, really getting to me. So then I found out about this and I thought, well, what's the worst that could happen? I go in and it doesn't do anything. Right. So, I went in, I did the treatment. The program that I was on was about 8 weeks. And then like, it wasn't really until towards the end of the 8 weeks that I was just kind of like, hey, I'm actually feeling better. And then ever since then, like after I finished with the treatment over the next several months, I continued to improve, which I was not expecting. And for me, the biggest one is, with my depression, I would get like intrusive thoughts, and for me, the worst of the intrusive thoughts were suicidal thoughts. I would get intrusive suicidal thoughts literally on a daily basis for years and years and years. Since I finished the TMS, which was about 18 months ago, give or take, I haven't had that for the last 18 months. It's the first time in probably 10 plus years that I haven't thought about suicide on a daily basis. And it's been so freeing, so liberating.
Wow. I mean, just meeting people that have been through depression and PTSD, I have just so many questions on what the different options, and now seeing documentaries and more highlight news stories on people that are actually going through it. I had no idea that the peel process of that was that bad. I had no idea about that. So that really enlightened me on that when I heard about the options of TMS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great because it's just a few minutes out of your day for a few weeks, and like for me, the results have lasted for a year and a half. So it's I haven't had to go back on medication. Like, I mean, I'm still human. I still have days where I'm not feeling 100%. I still have days when I'm down, but it's not that like abysmal low. Like with depression, the thing that a lot of people don't don't really get about depression is that I like to use the phrase that depression lies to you. You know, on my worst days, I would think, you know, nobody cares about me. Nobody can care about me. I'm unlovable. I'm this horrible, horrible waste of space. And if I were to disappear right now, nobody would notice. Now, logically, I knew that that wasn't the case. You know, I had pictures on the wall of people that I know love me, that I know would miss me if something happened to me. But the depression would take over to such a degree that I couldn't feel that. Logically, I knew that yeah, these people cared about me, but I couldn't feel it in here. You know what I mean?
Wow. So it seems to me as though the pill process takes it to a different area, but this TMS takes the stimulation to a more comfortable zone. Am I right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It from what I've seen, and Jason can verify this or correct me if I'm wrong. That there's a certain area of the brain that has a tendency to underperform in people who have chronic depression, and this thing stimulates that area, kind of like working out a muscle. It stimulates that area. The brain starts sending blood to that area, and after a while, it's like, oh, I need to keep sending blood to this area, and you know, that's it. Kind of that's the way it corrects the problem.
That's very well explained to a person that's really coming more knowledgeable about it. I'm not saying I'm an expert on it, but I've been meeting more and more people with the PTSD and depression. As I said, if you guys just tuning in, this is Montez at Midday. I'm joined by today with Jason of TMS and Adam as well, who was a patient of TMS, and we're talking about depression as well as PTSD. I'm giving you another option, another choice, and you can find out more information by visiting ChesterfieldTMS.com for more information today. And where you say that program is headed to next now, you say? What other phase you're trying to get into, the PTSD?
Well, it's FDA approved for depression, OCD, and smoking cessation, and other conditions like PTSD, anxiety. A lot of those conditions are about to be approved or will be approved in the future. There's tons of clinical research, but as you can imagine, unless we're doing warp speed, we're not going to get anything approved real quick. I mean, it took a long time to just get depression approved.
Right.
There's a lot of research about other conditions, but yeah, we are trying to get the word out about TMS with PTSD, first responders, military, all that, because it does treat those conditions as well, and very successfully.
Well, we're going to try to get it out. But like with anything new, everybody is skeptical. Everybody got questions. They want to actually know somebody that's been through the process to actually feel, is this a safe bet? Because we're living in times right now, you can't trust no damn body. But it seems as though this TMS is working. And I like the way that Adam broke it down on relaying the blood pressure situation for people who really don't go through the depression or the PTS state of mind since a point. But what's the next phase again? You said with PTS and going with the military, or is it something else you're looking at?
The military will pay for it through their insurance programs. But for first responders, I mean, it's on a case-by-case basis. If it's strictly just PTSD, but a lot of those diagnoses go along with depression. I mean, the basic, bare basics, the chemistry that goes along with all that's kind of the same. I know I'll probably get some comments that it's not, but the physics behind TMS is that the magnetic pulse is strong enough to get through your skull and stimulate your brain without any of the side effects of the direct current, which would be ECT, which has been around for a very long time. So
now, what is the process for this? Everything has a process. If I figure out I'm suffering from depression or PTSD and I feel I want to give TMS a try, what is the process for this?
Very simple. Make an appointment with us. We'll have a consultation. Have you fill out some basic paperwork to see if you're a good fit for TMS. We have multiple psychiatrists that we work with that'll sign off on your TMS treatment, and we'll put a treatment plan together. Just so folks know, it's basically a magnetic pulse, which is created by an electric coil, but it's not shock therapy. It's placed on your forehead. The sessions last just 3 minutes. You can do multiple sessions in a day. If you're private pay, insurance will only pay for 1 session per day. That can all be explained to you. I don't want to complicate the matter right now.
Gotcha. But the initial
And that's it. I
consultation,
mean, it's real simple. And Adam can confirm this, but I mean, basically, you can drive to and from the sessions. There's no sedation. It's like stopping off at Starbucks and getting a cup of coffee. Instead of getting coffee, you come in and get your TMS, and you're off to work, or you're coming home for the day.
get your treatment to complete the day right there. So I can come in on a Monday and be ready for my first treatment by Tuesday or Wednesday or the same day.
Kind of depends. If you want to use your insurance, then we have to get a pre-authorization, which can take a little bit of time because they drag their feet a little bit. But if you came in and everything was taken care of and ready to go, I could get you in a chair the next day.
Look at that. Look at that, kids. Look at that. That's getting things done. Results driven by Adam being here telling his testimonial again. Adam, where you from again, my man?
Born and raised in St. Louis.
All right, from St. Louis right there. And he seems that the TMS treatment has helped him a little bit better than the other treatments that you were going through, as you said?
Oh, hands down. I've had better results with TMS than any of the antidepressants I've ever been on.
Wow. And how long you said you've been dealing with depression, you think?
Oh, my whole life. I first started going into therapy when I was 5.
Wow. So when it comes to depression, as a sports-minded person, I've been hearing this word tossed around a lot: mental health and depression and anxiety. Does anxiety fit into the TMS treatment as well?
Yes.
Anxiety?
It's actually the other side of the brain.
Okay.
If people want to get treated for depression and anxiety, there is a protocol for that, and we do that same day, same session.
Because I'm seeing that thrown around a lot, and I'm wondering what other options are there out there now. Hearing about TMS, I'm wondering how far is this going to go right now as it goes further into the mainstream with more and more people hearing about this.
Well, people are tired of big pharma pushing drugs. I mean, tired of the side effects, tired of everything that goes along with that. And I think one thing that's come out of this COVID is people just had it with
they had enough
drugs, and that's not the case.
Yeah, another issue with the medications, and I ran into this several times, is you may find a medication, an antidepressant, that works for you, and it might work for you for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and then all of a sudden it'll just stop working. Don't know why. It just won't be effective anymore, and so then you have to go through the process of getting off of that medication, because even though it's not doing what it's supposed to do, your body is still used to it being there. So you have to go through the whole process of tapering yourself off of it. Then you go on a new one, and you got to wait about 2 weeks or so to feel whether or not that one's going to start working for you. So it's a really a pain in the ass, if you don't mind me saying so.
Hey, no. Hey, listen, I agree. I've met some people that have told me some stories and things I did not know about depression and PTSD. Didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But meeting these people that tell me stories, I'm like, wow, I had no clue.
Yeah. Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head earlier when you said, a lot of people, especially men, don't really talk about it. We're brought up in a culture that it's like, oh no, you don't discuss depression. You don't discuss if you have any mental disorder. That's a shameful thing. And it's like,
right.
That's what's causing so many issues, is the fact that we don't talk about it. We repress it. We keep it inside, and it just feeds it. It makes it worse. So
but now, right, people have been talking about it in a positive way that has helped them. And I think that has created more of a positive platform of men talking about how they really feel.
Absolutely.
How to get over the hump. Because everybody that has the big house and a nice car and the good looking kids are not always happy.
Right. And that's one of the things with depression is, like, remember I told you about the intrusive suicidal thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I was living in Los Angeles for a while. And I remember I was trying to be an actor. I was auditioning for things left and right. I was landing things. I was filming things all the time. Life was great, but I couldn't feel it. I would still have those suicidal thoughts, even though there was no logical reason for me to be depressed. There was no logical reason for me to be like, oh, I'm this worthless person, because everything was going great. But it was still there. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that it's not just feeling bad. It's feeling bad, especially when there's no reason for you to be feeling that way.
I heard this in one of the depression PTSD's therapy shows that I watch. Said a very great quote. If we stop thinking about what other people have put on us from the time they give us a name, we're put into this mindset we have to be that name.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes further and further and further. If we take the label off of things and just allow us to be us, you can be more of the person of the you're trying to be, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. I
And the
couldn't
way
agree
she
more.
explained it, like, wow. I mean, when you give a child a name, now you're trying to child to say their name, spell their name, say your name, walk this way, and do all of this, and yet the child has yet to do anything they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a steady process, but we're so crazy and fixed on it in our own head, we don't realize till we get 35 or 40 that those methods were wrong. That's the crazy thing. But it seems as though TMS is a new alternative out there, man, that I think some people need to check out and find out about. And it's on the bottom of the screen. Visit the website, ChesterfieldTMS.com. The phone number is 636-532-0705 as well. But check that out. It seems like it's a very nice and easy and convenient and affordable, I guess, treatment for people.
Most all major insurance covers it.
That's
Depends
what
on the
everyone
plan,
needs
what the deductible is, things like that. But all major insurance covers it, including Medicare.
Well, that sounds great. Does it help with people that battle coming off a bad gambling weekend in sports?
Let's find out.
I'm quite sure everybody is doing it. I mean, we already know all these guys get snipped right before the Final Four and all that, all these new traditions going on. But I'm wondering who really goes and gets treatment after a long season of football.
We'll put together a promotion for anybody who's that bad off with after the brackets are over.
Oh, go get your TMS treatment today.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
And you have just the one location open. Where's the other one at?
The other one's at Clayton and Big Bend. Will be open in about a month.
Clayton and Big Bend open in about a month. So right now we got one location to serve you, which is out in Chesterfield. Again, the website is on the bottom of the screen. Check it out, people. I mean, my man Jay, it's been a pleasure, my man. And I'm going to pass this along to my military friends as well that could possibly use the services of TMS as well.
Definitely. I appreciate you having us on.
No problem. Thanks again, Adam. Appreciate it, my man.
It's been a pleasure.
You guys have a great day, and thanks again for joining me on Montez at midday on this What Up Wednesday, What It Do Wednesday, What's Going On Wednesday, and what in the hell, Dre, is going on here, buddy? But as always, we heard a little bit of a teaser of what's going on in the NFL. Could Tyreek Hill be leaving the Jets? I mean, leaving the Chiefs and going to the Jets. Interesting. This could be one of the most wildest NFL free agencies I've seen in quite some time. The stories behind the scene, the situation in the coaching, the NFL front office, what's going on with the players trying to do the buddy system, and the incoming draft class of the NFL. All this is very, very intriguing, but it cannot take away from what's going on in the March of Madness. I'm going to tell it again. I don't think the women in college sports get enough credit. I don't think they get enough, from softball to basketball. They don't get enough credit. And I do my best to watch the softball, the gymnastics, and the basketball. But my goodness, man, come on. These women out here balling out. They balling out. Now, I hate to say this, but there's one part of March Madness that I really, really like. It's when they cry, when they lose. It's just something about those tears that, I mean, losing's a part of the game. I've cried losing. I've cried winning. I mean, it's a part of the game. It's not being petty. It's not being bush league. It's just a part of the game. But I love that. I love the way the Sweet 16s brackets have turned out in the men's and women's. I love it. I could be on board with this. I could really, really be on board with this. the way everything is panning out. But more stories going to come from St. Peter's. Can't believe the young man signed an NIL deal with Buffalo Wild Wings. Wow. The things all it takes is one. I say this all the time to people. All it takes is one person to buy in to the dream. One person to buy into the dream. That's all it takes. And we're going to get this dream. We're going to carry it on home. But again, if you're just tuning in and you missed it, you can go back and see it from the beginning. What we had today we had TMS on today. Jason from TMS, which is transcranial magnetic stimulation, located out in Chesterfield. And he also had one of his patients on here, Adam, talking about the brain magnet, dealing with depression and PTSD and all of that goes along with it. And I tell you, it was very interesting. The more and more I find out about depression and PTSD, I pay more attention to people around me now, by the way they talk, by the way they don't talk, their body language, all that goes involved with the people that I've met. I want to say since last November, I've met a whole lot of people that fit that criteria, have been nice enough to open up to me and say, hey, I'm going through this. Met a young man named Ryan a couple of weeks ago, and he told me the same thing. And when we went to Oklahoma City a few months ago, met another group of young men that was going through the same thing. So all these things are around us if we just pay attention and listen to people and give them their chance to be heard. You know, sometimes when people just want to be heard and not talk to, pointed at, or told what to do. But guys, it's Wednesday. What up? Enjoy the rest of your day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday to you. If you celebrate an anniversary, happy anniversary to you. If you just got in a relationship and everything is going fine, appreciate the good times. Appreciate it. Keep smiling. Keep looking at each other's eyes, telling each other those cute little things. I love you too, boo-boo kitty fuck. I love you too, daddy. Keep doing stuff like that because it helps in the long run. But more importantly, shout out to the sponsors again. Oh, yeah. Got to get him in here. Got to get that music in here real quick. Again, shout out to TMS for coming on the show today. That was awesome, Jason. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you for the information. Again, if you going through some depression issues or PTSD or maybe have a chronic illness, reach out to TMS. A whole lot of information for you. Just follow the link on the bottom of the page. Get some music. Get this day going. Because it gets people going. Well, all right. Funky people. Feel the love. All right, up in the building. All right. We'll see you next time. Peace. I holla.